Hey Rosebuds, how are y'all doing today? It's good to see everyone. Well, I don't see y'all, but it's good to, feel you in the building, in the garden. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had to get dinner ready. Today was the first day of school. How many people are so happy to be sending their children back to school this month? I know I am. I was so excited this morning. It's like, come on, get up, get up. We got to go to school. So I hope that was easy for you all. It was super easy for me this morning. I have 3 videos to show you all today. I thought we would talk about the arrest of Sidney Starr. Looks like karma has come back to bite him. We're going to talk about Shiloh Hendrix, this crazy woman that I'm sure you all heard about that went viral back in 2025 for that incident at the park where she called that young kid with autism the N-word. Okay. And then we're going to talk about Candace Owens and Lamont Hill, or Mark Lamont Hill. We're going to talk about them too. I'm going to save them for last because that's my favorite video to discuss today. So without further ado, I'm going to start with this video on Mrs. Shiloh Hendrix, the crazy lady that was accosting a kid at the park by calling him the N-word. He is autistic, and I guess maybe he might have walked by her personal belongings or went through her bag at the park. You know how kids can be when they're at the park, and this lady just started hurling racial insults at the kid, and it was really, really shocking that she would be speaking to a kid this way, but there are people like this in the world. So I thought we would watch it to talk about how she actually got convicted. There was 2 counts against her for this hate speech and using racial slurs, I think it was. One she got convicted of, the other one she didn't. So we're going to watch this video from Nate the lawyer. The title of this video is "The Legal Loophole That Convicted a White Woman for Saying the N-Word." Okay? It's good to see you, Batman. Hey, how are you doing? And what's up, Stillmatic Network? It's good to see you, Mr. G Honda. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I said this one that we're going to start with is the Shiloh Hendrix verdict. So she went viral back in 2025, like I just said, and basically she cursed out an 8-year-old Black autistic child that happened to take an item from her diaper bag. As a mom, I just don't think that's a big deal. It's a diaper bag. What's in there? Diapers, wipes. You might have a bag full of Cheerios in there. I mean, kids do stuff like that. They take toys, they go into diaper bags. They just know that every mom has goodies and treats or toys in the diaper bag. So not a big deal, not anything to call a kid the N-word for. But basically, after she did this, she, of course, went viral because somebody was smart enough to record her. The incident sparked national debate over race, free speech, and public accountability. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to bring myself over here. I like this look better. It's like I'm looking at it, but I'm like also looking at y'all. I don't know, but this just feels right. Okay. But here we go.
Late last night, a verdict was reached. Hendrix was recorded using racial slurs at a Rochester park in April of 2025. The jury came down with a mixed verdict, both convicting.
And this happened in Rochester, New York. This isn't the South. This is New York. Okay?
And acquitting her on disorderly conduct charges.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Hannah Holland with a special report from ABC 6 News. One guilty verdict and one not guilty verdict. That's the decision from jurors tonight in the case against Shiloh Hendrix.
So this morning, a verdict was reached late last night in the trial of Shiloh Hendrix, the woman accused of using a racial slur against a child last year in a Rochester park. The jury split, finding her guilty on one misdemeanor disorderly conduct count.
All right, today we are going to look at the Shiloh Hendrix case because so many of you have asked me, Nate, you gotta cover this case. So let me cover the case. Now, you guys know I'm a lawyer, so whenever an app says you can earn real money playing games, my first question is, okay, how does this actually work? Today's sponsor, PlayZone, is a free gaming loyalty app that rewards you for playing popular mobile games on set. Download Play Miles Tweets, cost your cat. So your details on her professional Hendrix earnings will vary. All right, so this is 37-year-old Shiloh Hendrix. She's a mother and a private citizen, so there's not many details on her professional life and schooling, even though they've said she's lost her job over this incident. And she is from Rochester, Minnesota, so you know this is going to be interesting. So obviously the first thing I'm doing is going to the Minnesota court.
Oh, sorry, guys. Not Rochester, New York. Rochester, Minnesota. So forgive me. G Honda, forgive me. It's still up north. It's still up north. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What's up, Pooh Man? It's good to see you, Pooh Man. I love that video you dropped in my Discord, Pooh Man. Thank you for that. But yeah, Rochester, Minnesota. That's where this happened. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Website because I want to see what's going on with the case. And it kind of gives you some background to Shiloh Hendrix too, if she's been involved in some other things. So I'm going down to the bottom. It looks like Shiloh Hendrix has a criminal history. She was convicted of a petty misdemeanor, and it seems like brawling or fighting. So it seems like she got into a petty fist fight. She was convicted back in 2012. So that's like 14 years ago. That's nonsense. She also has a driving motor vehicle alcohol concentration. So she's got a DWI. She was convicted of that, but another charge is dismissed. Another DWI is dismissed. Damn, okay, so and that was 2014. So 12 years ago, and then she's had this one in 2025. So last contact, and these are two misdemeanors. So her criminal history is essentially nothing based on this. Matter of fact, that I'm not even sure if it is the same. State of Shiloh Marie Hendrix. Yeah, the same birthday. So to me, it just seems like she's had minor issues, right? A DWI, and she's not any type of arch criminal here. So a couple of minutes.
Okay, so she's smoking and driving, drinking and driving. She's going to parks and she's accosting autistic children. She just is kind of like a nuisance, okay? And I get it that it wasn't like a lot of like long, extensive criminal history, but she seems to be a bad girl anytime she's outside of her house. I mean, whether she's driving or brawling in a bar or fighting at the park with children. She just seems to be a nuisance, in my opinion, wherever she goes.
Misdemeanor convictions, it doesn't look too good. Now, she was charged with disorderly conduct, and she was acquitted for one, and she was convicted for the other one. So now, before we get into the facts of the case, I want to look up what disorderly conduct is in Minnesota with the statutes. And the reason why I want to look it up is because when we see the events play out, like when we see the video of what happened, we can understand what we're looking for to evaluate whether this is some sham prosecution or whether it's not. And we'll also look at the court documents because, again, I go deep into this. So I have the defendant's motion to dismiss. I have the state's reply. I have what the court said about it and how the court came out, all the First Amendment arguments. So I've done all the research and we're going to go through it. So first things first, what is disorderly conduct in Minnesota? So for that, we're going to look at the jury instructions. That's what you see on the screen. You see the instructions to the jury. And when you go down in this document, it has elements, the elements that the jury has to evaluate to determine if Shiloh Hendrix is going to be guilty of.
And see, this is why we should not, as content creators, like let the attorneys explain this stuff right here when it comes to court cases, because we don't freaking know. I just said it was Rochester, New York. Like, I would have been pulling up data, facts, and statistics about Rochester, New York, and this happened in Rochester, Minnesota. You see, it's like let the professionals do these kinds of like professional deep dives, and let us just cover it with our opinions. You know what I mean? Like, when we get to fighting with each other over like what people can be convicted of and how many years they can get and blah blah blah, it's like, how the hell do we know? You know, I do policy, health communication, health marketing. Like, I don't know anything about the law. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's just like, you know, if I do writing and legal work and you are doing construction or a plumber or, you know, a police officer, you don't do the law. So it's like we can just speculate and we can have our opinions, but we are by no means professional people who should be arguing like our opinions are facts. I think some of us just like get too crazy in the minutia of our thoughts and feelings that we start, you know, speaking crazy behind these microphones, okay?
Of disorderly conduct. So let's go to that section. So as you see here in the jury instructions, they list what disorderly conduct is, because she's only being charged with disorderly conduct. And then they list the elements where the jury has to find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in each and every one of these elements to obtain a conviction for the misdemeanor of disorderly conduct. Since we're talking about criminal law here, there are two main concepts that we have to look at when reading this statute. Number one is the actus reus. That's the physical act. And then second is the mens rea. That's the mental state. Now, the actus reus is what the person physically did. For instance, in a battery case, the actus reus would be the punch, the physical hitting of the other person. And in that case, if you don't have the physical act of actually hitting the person, you don't have the crime. So in this case, what is the actus reus for disorderly conduct? Well,
could you imagine walking down the street and somebody just bumping you like Hey, Delancey, what are y'all doing if somebody just walks down the street and does you like that? Hold on, let me go back.
Found here in the first element, case if you don't have the physical actus reus would be the punch, the physical hitting of the other person. And in that case, if you don't have the physical act of actually hitting the person,
I could not imagine if somebody bumped me like that on purpose. Like, you know, they ready to fight. You know, you got to just drop your stuff and get to scrapping like right away. Like, you see how he's like, no, oh no, I don't want any. He's about to get a bunch, even though he doesn't want any. You know, like, you just got to drop your bag and get to swinging, bruh.
You don't have the crime. So in this case, what is the actus reus for disorderly conduct? Well, it's found here in the first element where the defendant engaged in offensive, obscene, abusive, boisterous, or noisy conduct, acting a fool, yelling and screaming.
See, acting a fool, yelling and screaming is not free speech.
Could be disorderly conduct or the act required for disorderly conduct. But there's an or here, and it says or offensive, obscene, or abusive language, tending reasonably to arouse, alarm, anger, or resentment in others. So the two ways to satisfy the actus reus requirement in Minnesota's disorderly conduct statute is one, you're acting a fool, screaming, yelling, noisy, abusive conduct, or two, you say something that flips everybody out and makes everybody mad.
Are y'all listening to this, ladies? Are y'all listening to this? Y'all out there in Minnesota acting a damn fool, doing that fraud? You get out in public acting crazy, talking to people crazy. you gonna go to jail.
There are two ways you can achieve the actus reus required to be convicted under this particular statute. Now, I know the first objection here is going to be free speech. What about free speech? But not all speech is protected here in the United States. We like to think so, but it's not. For instance, one of the most glaring exceptions is fighting words.
Fighting words. A similar category to incitement, the Supreme Court has also indicated that fighting words are not protected by the First Amendment. Fighting words means words which would likely make the person to whom they are addressed commit an act of violence.
All right, so let's stop it right here so that we can get crystal clear about what fighting words are, okay? Because we do this a lot online. We use fighting words. So what are fighting words, everyone? Let's read the definition that is here on the screen, okay? Fighting words are not protected by the First Amendment. Fighting words means words which would likely make the person to whom they are addressed commit an act of violence. That means commit to going upside your head because you done fucked around and found out. Okay? So, excuse my French. But fighting words are not protected by the First Amendment. And those words are any words that would likely make a person to whom they are addressed commit an act of violence. Okay?
The classic example here comes from the 1942 case Czaplinski versus New Hampshire. Czaplinski, during an altercation with a police officer, had shouted at him, "You're a goddamned racketeer and a damned fascist." Upholding Czaplinski's conviction, the Supreme Court ruled that fighting words, which by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace, are unworthy of First Amendment protection. Writing for a unanimous court, Justice Murphy observed that such utterances are no essential part of any exposition of ideas and are of such slight social value as a step to the truth that any benefit that may be derived from them is clearly outweighed by the social interest in order and morality.
So now that you have an idea what fighting words are, here is how the jury instructions describe them. Quote, speech is not fighting words merely because it's racist. Fighting words are words that constitute personal offensive epithets that when spoken to the ordinary person under the particular circumstances of the case are, as a matter of common knowledge, inherently likely to provoke a violent reaction or incite an immediate breach of the peace by those to whom such words are addressed. And it goes on to say the offense may be based upon the utterance of fighting words alone without resulting in actual violence.
Okay, so look, what is this telling us? Speech is not fighting words merely because it is racist. Fighting words are words that constitute personally offensive epithets that, when spoken to the ordinary person under the particular circumstances of the case, are, as a matter of common knowledge, inherently likely to provoke a violent reaction or incite an immediate breach of the peace by those to whom which the words are addressed. So, because she's out there calling this young kid that is 8 years old the N-word, think about how the mother of that young child is feeling. Like, she's clearly ready to go upside the woman's head. I don't think she does, but imagine now this autistic kid see his mother get all worked up. Now he's all worked up. And even though there has been no violence, like although the lady called them the N-word, there is no violence from the person who got called the N-word. She can still get in trouble for using the N-word because it is still considered to be, it says the offense may be based upon the utterance of the fighting words alone without resulting in actual violence. So you called me the N-word. Yes, I got offended and I cussed you out, but I didn't hit you. But just because I didn't hit you doesn't mean that what you said to me wasn't actually fighting words, which would have allowed me to hit you. So you can't say, well, she didn't hit me, it's not fighting words. Well, no, I restrained myself, or somebody, likely my husband or a friend of mine who's with me at the park when you're calling my son the N-word, somebody restrained me from going upside your head. And I think in this video, there's going to be the person that recorded it. We're going to actually hear him and her having the conversation about her using the N-word to the child at the park.
The focus is on the nature of the words and the circumstances in which they were spoken, rather than upon the actual response. So element 1 of disorderly conduct in Minnesota, the physical act of speaking these fighting words, is the actus reus required in the first element. Some other examples could be falsely claiming you have a bomb in an airplane. That's going to cause people some stress. Does it happen?
I was just on the airplane with my son, and I was mouthing the word bomb to him. I was like, my son is so square. He doesn't like trouble at all. Like he thinks me and his dad are like troublemakers, like from the pits of hell. My son would never do half of the things that me and his father do, and I'm thankful for that. But my son was just like, don't say that word, because we were at the airport. Hey, Lady Zyrax, it's good to see you, sister. Thank you for my 10 jewels. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's good to see you. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a good day today. Yeah, hi to you. Thank you, Lady Zyrax. You are the best. And I see the real Trump said, okay. The words have harmful impacts. Yes, I agree with you on that. Yes, hey to everybody. Hey to the Simp God, 3 a.m. Thought, 3 a.m. Dope Voices, 3 a.m. Thought Club. You changed your name. Okay, 3 a.m. It's you. Good to see you, sir. What's up? Okay, here we go.
To be racist when you're yelling fire falsely in a crowded theater, right? People are going to get alarmed and maybe start a stampede. Now, as a lawyer, sometimes these fighting word statutes can give you some real crazy outcomes. For instance, let's say there's a KKK rally and they're giving their highest award to the biggest racists of the KKK. Someone goes and jumps up there with a BLM shirt on and say, this guy is an N-word lover. Well, you know what's going to happen? All hell's going to break loose at that KKK rally. Because this guy, even though he's not using the N-word in a racist way, it's going to cause some strife. That is the actus reus required for disorderly conduct in that situation. And you can flip it to someone with a Make America hat on, jumping onto the stage of a BLM rally, saying all you N-words. That could cause some strife. That could breach the peace. People are going to be upset. So that would be another example of satisfying the actus reus.
I don't even think that we would do anything. Like, I think we would probably think it was a joke, that we were getting trolled, and we would probably laugh and encourage the person in the MAGA hat to keep trying to gin the crowd up. Like I can't see us at like a Sweet Auburn festival or a Summer Jam festival. Like I can't see that kind of crowd would care much if somebody from MAGA got on stage. I don't think that would incite a riot. I think like after this Charlie Kirk stuff happened, and like Chud the Builder, like how they keep trying to like entice problems. I think that we're kind of numb to it by now. It's like, don't pull out a pow or nothing, because oh for sure somebody's gonna take you down. But if you just have on a MAGA hat and you come to one of our cookouts or comedy shows or concerts and you want to get on stage and you want to troll us with your MAGA talking points, I don't think we would do anything. Do y'all think that we would care? Like, would you care? Wouldn't you just want to like get it on film? Like you would like hold your phone up and like record them acting a fool so you could post it? But would you like want to go and kick their ass? Like, no, it's like, okay, just get out of the way. We're trying to see, Travis Scott or Don Tolliver. Get out of the way.
For this particular
Stop.
crime.
No,
So that's element 1, the actus reus. We're going to be seeing whether Shiloh Hendrix used fighting words. So now it's not enough that she committed the criminal act, but she also has to have the requisite mental state. And here, the second element tells us what mental state or mens rea do we have to look for. It says that the defendant, Shiloh Hendrix, knew or believed or had reasonable grounds to know that the conduct would or could tend to alarm, anger, disturb, provoke, and assault by or provoke a breach of the peace by others. So in our 2 examples, one where the guy with the BLM shirt jumps on a stage hugging the Grand Wizard and calling him an N-word lover, would that tend to alarm, anger, disturb, or provoke an assault or provoke a breach of the peace in that setting? Yes or no? On the other end, where the guy's wearing the Make America Great hat on and jumps up on stage and says, all you N-words out there in the middle of a BLM rally, would that tend to alarm, anger, disturb, or provoke an assault? So the state has to prove that Shiloh knew that what she was saying would tend to cause this type of reaction and said it anyway. The last 2 elements are just jurisdictional elements. The place it took was either public or private property. And 4th is that it had to take place within the county that they're prosecuting. So that's still looking for the last 2 elements. Now, very important, the government has to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. Shiloh Hendrix doesn't have to prove that she didn't do this. It's the government who has to prove she did beyond a reasonable doubt. So now, for those of you who've been with me for a long time,
Do y'all know how much that hair color costs, by the way? For her to have that blonde hair from root to tip, do you know how expensive that is? Didn't they raise a GoFundMe for her? Yeah, they did. And I see how she's using it too. I see you, girl. I see you from your roots to your tips, girl.
Understand, we like to look at the law first. So when we look at the facts, we can evaluate it from a position of knowledge. We understand we're looking for fighting words. We understand we're looking for a particular mental state while we're evaluating what actually happened. So let's go to the videotape.
You call him a child?
The fuck you talking?
Did you call the child the word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you.
Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a. The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to.
He acts like one? What? You see? An 8-year-old kid, like he like 8-year-old black children just can't do regular things that 8-year-old children do, which is go through diaper bags when they're hungry looking for snacks, likely, misunderstood that diaper bag to be his mother's diaper bag. But she has to call this 8-year-old the N-word and say, yeah, I called him that because he's acting like one. Wow. And then people like Tommy get mad when you call them raccoons because they get on people's podcasts and say, I hate ninjas with the hard ER. Like he ain't one. But him talking like that makes her say that an 8-year-old, because he committed one little bad infraction as a kid, is acting like a full-grown man, hard ER. Really? Wow. Like the audacity. It's Tammy. You're right. I forgot. What's up, Project Leroy? It's been a minute. It's good to see you, sir. Hey, Project Leroy. That's right. It's Tammy. How could I forget? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. If you are new to the space or just coming into the Rose Garden, please hit the like for me. Subscribe to the channel. Before I started the show and I was getting ready, I counted and I am 136 subscribers away from reaching 4K. So if you guys could help me reach 4K, I would greatly appreciate your thoughtful subscription. Okay. But yeah, the audacity of this lady, the fucking audacity of this lady. I can't stand people like this. Like, just call him a bad boy, but to call him the hard ER N-word and say that that's what he's acting like when this Indian man, I'm assuming he's Indian, approaches her to say, hey, what did you just say to this young man? What did you call him? You know, at least he's checking her.
Call a child, 5-year-old, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit. Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
Now, obviously, I had to bleep the N-words because this is YouTube, but they were both saying the N-word. So if that's the case, why is only one person charged and the other person's not charged? This is where things start getting interesting legally. Shiloh Hendrix attorneys filed this motion to dismiss immediately, saying that Shiloh Hendrix's speech there was protected by the First Amendment. Vile as it is, it may be unkind, but yet it's still protected. The First Amendment protects speech we don't like. It doesn't protect speech we like. So Shiloh Hendrix's attorney filed the standard motion to dismiss, claiming this is obviously free speech. And in his brief, he starts.
Now look at this guy. Look at her attorney. Look at him. Look at him, y'all. Look at him. He looks disheveled. He looks just about as damn crazy as Shiloh. In that video when she was like, what is that? Ew. Ew. You gonna flick your tongue out at me, lady? What? Ugh.
Going over the history of the Supreme Court precedent concerning free speech. Neo-Nazis in the Village of Skokie case. The court emphasized that speech cannot be suppressed simply because it's offensive or emotionally distressing. And that case was about neo-Nazis marching with Nazi symbols. Flag burning protected free speech, Texas v. Johnson, and on he went until finally he addressed the fighting words issue in his motion. He says under Supreme Court precedent, this isn't fighting words because Hendrix's words had no imminency of violence. There weren't any threats. It was also in a reactive context. The statements were made in response to a theft and confrontation. Now, essentially, the lawyer is making the argument that the only reason why Miss Hendrix is being prosecuted is because she's a white woman saying the N-word. That's what all of these pages essentially mean. But the state responds to all this. Now, the prosecution responds to the First Amendment argument by first saying that the defendant, Shiloh Hendrix attorney, says that all offensive speech is protected. But that's not true. It quotes the case Gooding v. Wilson and says personally directed, inherent abusive language likely to provoke an immediate violent reaction falls outside First Amendment protections. And then the prosecutor goes on and describes the incident like this. Here, the complaint does precisely that. It alleges that the defendant directed an extreme racial epithet at both adult and a child and chased the child in a confrontational manner. This is not abstract expression or generalized commentary. It is targeted face-to-face verbal abuse coupled with aggressive physical conduct. Such behavior is paradigmatic fighting words. All right, so I looked up paradigmatic. It is acting as a typical example, archetype. Okay, that makes sense. Language that is inherently likely to provoke an immediate breach of the peace, particularly when directed at vulnerable minority accompanied by pursuant. So now we see what the defense was arguing, First Amendment. We see the prosecutor rebut that, hey, this isn't First Amendment. Here's the reasons why. Here's what the judge said. Now, obviously, the judge ruled in favor of the prosecutor or there wouldn't have been a trial. So here's how the judge ruled on the First Amendment issue. Quote, during the video recorded portion of the confrontation, defendant again repeatedly uses the same racial slur along with other abusive language while holding her child and in proximity to other children and adults, where the complaint alleges direct face-to-face usage of highly inflammatory language in a confrontational setting, together with circumstances indicating a foreseeable risk of immediate escalation. Dismissal is improper because the determination of whether the speech constitutes fighting words is.
Okay, this is a lot. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, so let me slow this down. All right, it says during the video recorded portion of the confrontation, the defendant again repeatedly uses the same racial slur, the N-word, okay, along with other abusive language. She says, "Go fuck yourself." Remember, she's flipping him off with her finger. It says, while holding her child and in proximity to other children and adults. Remember, the boy that she's talking about, when the camera panned around, the young man was standing at the top of the slide. Okay, so he's within earshot. He can hear this lady talking crazy. Okay, where the complaint alleges direct face-to-face use of highly inflammatory language in a confrontational setting, together with circumstances indicating a foreseeable risk of immediate escalation, dismissal is improper because the determinant of whether the speech constitute fighting words is inherently fact intensive and reserved for the tier of fact. So basically, okay, she was in the wrong. Okay, she was in the motherfucking wrong. All right. So the judge basically, so there's parts of her speech, yes, that are protected, but the way in which she used the speech with her actions, remember in the beginning, he was showing you the two fight scenes. There was one where they were actually physically fighting each other, and then there was another one where they just bumped each other and they were getting ready to fight. It's like when she started running after the child, and when she started, like, you know, targeting him and saying, well, he went through my bag and he did all that, like, that is the point. That is why she's guilty of disorderly conduct, okay, involving the man who recorded her and not the kid, because she was like getting up in his face, like, what, you know, do it, what you gonna do about it? I called him the N-word, I'm calling you the N-word, you know what I mean? So because she was more in his face and not in the child's face at the time of the recording, that's why they found her guilty just of calling the guy who was recording the N-word and not the kid. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on that. I felt like, you know, I wanted y'all to know that, yes, she got in trouble for using the N-word, but she only got in trouble for using the N-word because of the man who was recording her and cussing her out. She confronted him. And because she confronted him using the N-word and also other words and saying she doesn't care and what you gonna do about it, she ended up getting the disorderly conduct for that. And so I'm going to tell y'all right now, let me stop sharing this. I'm going to drop the link to this video in the description so that you guys can go back and give the content creator a like and possibly subscribe to him. But basically, oh girl, has to pay a $1,000 fine. She has to do 200 hours of community service. Like, Go figure. Like, what? 2 hours? Like 200 hours? That's it? A 90-day jail sentence that was stayed, meaning she does not have to serve it unless she violates probation. And then she has to be under supervised probation. And so people have been talking about this lady and have been like super divided over this because obviously, you know, they found out from reading that she wasn't actually found guilty from the horrible act she did to the child. She was actually found guilty from doing that to the guy who was recording her, who was also someone of brown skin. Yeah, like her supporters and even Nate the lawyer, you know, he's a black man, he's an attorney. Even he was not on her side because he felt like what she said was egregious and totally, you know, uncalled for and very disrespectful and demeaning to the kid. But supporters argue, and he's an attorney, that, you know, this case raises important First Amendment questions about when offensive speech can become criminal conduct. And I get that, you know, like you always want to be fair, so you're constantly playing devil's advocate in this situation. You know how he was talking about the KKK meeting versus the BLM meeting, and how those words could incite either side, you know, the N-word. And then others argue the conviction reflects that certain conduct, including repeated use of racial slurs in confrontational settings, can cross into disorderly conduct under state law. Those constitutional issues may continue to be debated, of course, and litigated, of course, because, you know, if you're going to keep using racial slurs at people, and until we get, you know, ourselves protected, until we put some money up behind wanting to be protected by, you know, from people that want to use the N-word against us, we're going to continue to argue about this shit in public. We're going to continue to have public discourse on the internet and, you know, when we're hanging out at family reunions, you know. So my questions for you guys in the chat and for people that are going to watch this on the replay: where is the line between protected speech and criminal conduct? You know, like, what are you going to tell your kid when he goes to, you know, his favorite baseball game? You know, or for example, here in Atlanta, when what was it? Brazil played against Argentina, or it was England with Brazil matchup, and there were people that were from Argentina there, and they were yelling at my friend because she's Brazilian. And because they were already out of the match, I think she was going for England, and the Argentinian man was like, you know, they were, you know, he was cussing her out, like, how could you go for, you know, Britain? Why wouldn't you be going for Argentina? And I mean, it was bad. Okay, like the people that were here from Argentina for FIFA, they were bad. They were pretty bad. But yeah, it's like, how can we strike the right balance? You know, when you tell your kids, you go and you fight for your team and you're cheering, you know, what are you going to tell them is not protected speech and kind of like rolls into criminal behavior, right? And then should someone lose their job or livelihood over viral behavior that is not a felony? I thought this was a good question. You know, like, you know, should I lose my job because somebody accused me of something that is considered to be a misdemeanor? And just because it went viral, like, what if I don't even get charged with it? What if it was a bogus accusation that ended up, you know, working on the side of the accused? You know, if I was to lose my job, do you think I should get my job back? You know, I think that you can be smacked on the hand for being bad, but you don't need to necessarily lose your whole livelihood behind it. Now, I don't agree with her calling a kid the N-word. I think if you're going to have to get fired from something for doing something, then that calling somebody the N-word is pretty bad. I think if you would do that with a kid at a park, you would do that to a coworker that you are their supervisor. You know, you would do that to the janitor at your company. You know, you would do that to anybody if you would do it to a child. So in this case, I think, you know, they said that she lost her job, and rightfully so, in my opinion. And does social media amplify accountability or encourage trial by public opinion? You know, are we wrong for casting judgment on these people when we hear these wild, wild stories? Do you think that the internet is just pumping up these stories, or do you think that these people are just crazy and this is the damn story? Like, this is them, you know, like when we hear about Stefan Diggs, like, is it just the media making up stories about him, or is he just freaking crazy? Like, what are we saying? What are we doing? But that video was from Nate the lawyer, and the video was called "The Legal Loophole That Convicted a White Woman for Saying the N-Word." Okay, so now we know about Shiloh Hendrix. She did get convicted. All she has to do is 200 hours of community service, pay a fine, and if she keeps herself out of trouble, she won't have to serve a 90-day jail sentence. But the minute she gets in trouble, she's going to jail. All right. So that's it on Shiloh. Now I think we can talk about, what do y'all want to talk about? Do y'all want to do Sidney Starr, or do y'all want to, well, let's talk about Sidney Starr, because I wanted to leave, I remember I said I was going to leave Candace Owens for last. Okay. So I'm going to share this other screen with you guys. This one is about, or this one is from, I think we covered him 2 weeks ago. IQ Shahid, the Sidney Starr. The Sidney Starr situation is weird. Like, hearing her talk about it. So this video here I'm using to discuss Sidney Starr is from IQ Shahid. It's called "Sidney Starr's Past Catches Up. Felony Arrest Made." Okay. I'm going to leave the description to his video, or I'm going to leave the link to this video in the description box so that you all can go give him a subscribe, like this video, and watch it in its entirety on your own. Cool content creator. I'm subscribed to him. I feel like he pulled some cool clips together. There were some other clips that I liked from other content creators, but then as I was like getting into some of their other content, I found them to be like gang related or affiliated with some stuff that I'm already into some stuff on YouTube. I don't want to get into any more stuff, and I damn sure don't want to get into any gang related issues. So I will try to stay away from gang related content creators. Okay. So I went again with IQ Shahid. I like the way he tells a story. I like that he's always outside walking. And he seems to be pretty fair. He allows his audience to come up with their own opinions without like beating the dead horse. Okay. So here we go.
So the charges in this story are disturbing, and I just want to say that before we get into it. Reality TV personality Sidney Starr is behind bars in Fulton County, facing severe felony charges involving a minor. Hapeville police arrested the model and television personality, whose legal name is Sydney Favors, on Sunday at the Embassy Suites on International Boulevard.
Okay, so they were on the south side of Atlanta. That's close to the airport. Okay. We were literally just talking about this because one of my friends wants to open up a gym so that AAU kids can come play their tournaments, okay? And we were talking about where this location would need to be. And I was just telling somebody that if you're going to do this kind of business, you're going to want to be close to the airport, okay? So this creepy shim, all right, so if you don't know, Sidney Starr is a trans woman, okay? And she's a reality TV personality, star, or I guess she's a star. I didn't know that she had been on reality TV, but I don't watch a lot of reality TV. But he was arrested in Hateville, Georgia on August 2nd following allegations involving a minor at an Embassy Suites hotel. Authorities charged Sidney with aggravated child aggravated child MOMO, actual battery against a child under 16, and okay? I don't want to say the words because I don't want to get in trouble on when I go to do my clips, okay? But these are all bad things, sexual things against a minor. Not very cool. Because the alleged victim is a minor, police have released very few details about the investigation. Of course, Sidney Starr is saying that she's denying all of this stuff. She said the allegations are false. According to reports, Starr claims the individual represented himself as an 18-year-old, and Starr intends to contest the charges in court. So I just want to clarify that as we get into this video, these are accusations. Sidney Starr has not been convicted, okay? So, like, when we listen to this, we should keep that in mind, that we still don't have all the facts.
Police say Favors is charged with sodomy, sexual battery against a child under 16, and aggravated child molestation. Starr, known for her appearances on reality and drama series including Baddies and Empire, remains held in custody at the Fulton County Jail. Investigators confirmed that the case has now been handed over to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office for prosecution, and due to the victim's age, police say that no additional details will be released regarding the case at this time.
So folks are obviously looking at a picture that a Fox 5 Atlanta viewer had sent to us from, it looks like, is this one from when she was arrested?
Yes, this is from her arrest on Sunday at the Embassy Suites. One of our viewers sent us this picture and sent us a little bit about the investigation. And so we reached out to Hateville Police after that and got confirmation of her arrest.
Yeah.
Talk about Weirdo of the Year award goes to Sidney Starr, bro. Now, if you're not privy, first of all, Sidney Starr was born a man, right? But if you're not privy, Sidney Starr was kind of one of the early, stars, no pun intended, when it came to virality. Not just regular virality, the world started. So,
yes, because remember, y'all, he is the one that came out and lied on Chingy. Remember? I don't know. Did y'all remember that picture that went viral of Chingy with her? Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. So remember those allegations against Chingy came out that he was messing with a transgender person, remember? And so this is, let me share my screen. Hold on. Let me present. Let me stop sharing this screen. Let me share this other one. Yeah, this one right here. So this is these images here are this is what, let's see, hold on. Does this play?
That rough patch got
No, that's not gonna play. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, but y'all can see it though, right? Y'all can see that back in the day, this was like early 2000s, right? This was like 2000. I want to say like I got married in 2007. So I'm thinking this happened like around 2007 or a little while after that. Chingy all of a sudden fell off, or nobody wanted to mess with Chingy anymore because he was allegedly messing with a transgender person, and it was Sidney Starr. Okay, so Chingy has said that this negatively impacted his career and derailed it because after this accusation came out, the music studio or the music company dropped him. They didn't want to put him out anymore. So, and it was a lie. Sidney, what's her name? Sidney Starr came out and said that she lied on Chingy for clout, and that's what IQ Shaheed is about to get into. He's about to get into the fact that she is credited for being like the first person to go viral for some like salacious drama, basically some world star hip hop shit.
We've had viral since we had the internet, right? But when virality could turn you into a star and you could branch it off.
And let me just say this. I'm so sorry. Thank you for becoming a member. What now? Thank you so much. I appreciate you for becoming a member. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for coming and being a member of the garden. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the garden. Okay. And then Lee Turner, thank you so much for sending me all these jewels. I appreciate you. I got 10 jewels, 20 jewels, 30 jewels, 40 jewels. And then Zyrac sent me jewels. So I got 50 jewels today. Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't forget to hit the like button for me. Yes. Ooh, great point. Great point, Project Leroy. He said, Mrs. Smell the Roses, of course it negatively tainted Chingy's image and music. His music has a double meaning now. Oh my God, that is so profound. Yes, it does have a double meaning. Wow. Like, I know I kept saying Sydney Sweeney. I'm so sorry. Dry buns. You so silly, Sentiment. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I was during the World Star days, and that was around the era that Sidney Starr made the claim that he and Chingy was messing around. After he didn't disclose to Chingy, you know, he was born a man and he took the picture, and a lot of people believed it, bro, at that time. Believe it or not, a lot of people believed that shit. I even believed it. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, Sidney Starr ended up apologizing and came out and said it was straight a lie.
How did you meet Chingy initially?
Okay. I met Chingy at a show. I was a backup dancer at a show in Chicago. It was backstage. I would say, you know, I was probably one of the most popular backup dancers / go-go dancers in Chicago. And I met him, saw him in the back, and I was like, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, being nice. Asked him for a picture, and after that, I kind of like stood around him and stuff and kind of just was like, you know, being cool with him. And I would say that was how I actually probably first met him. And it was like, I wouldn't say on some groupie type stuff, because I'm around celebrities all the time.
That's another thing that I cannot stand hoes, whether they males or females. You weren't a groupie, but you were starstruck at meeting Chingy. But you weren't a groupie because you knew stars all the time. So then why didn't you lie on somebody else? You needed clout. Obviously, you were starstruck. So you used Chingy as a launching pad for your own selfish gain, for your own career. But yet you knew stars like that. And girl, that was the only star you ever met. That was the first star that ever initiated taking a picture with you. And now you're saying you're sorry, but you're still trying to play this like you're some kind of fucking pimp. You are lame, bitch. You are lame as fuck. Who does that? Do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. Like that's you. While you telling the story, trying to apologize, you're still saying that it's not about the clout that you obviously received. Like the only reason why we're all talking about you is because you lied on Chingy. You were completely a clout chaser.
But I actually was a fan of his. I was a huge fan of Chingy.
Obviously.
I liked him a lot. And
we know.
I was like, wow, I'm around my favorite rap artists. This is pretty cool, so.
Favorite rap artists? Hardly. I mean, really? Chingy? I like it when you do that right there. Is that Chingy? Is that because I don't remember him. I can't remember one lyric that just stood out for me where I'm like, Chingy, that bar was dope. Like he dropped the hardest fire in the studio. It's like no one ever has said that about Chingy ever.
I just was like enjoying the moment, took a lot of pictures and just, talked to him. He was nice to me. He talked to me too. And, I never said anything about my situation because no one seemed to have known. You can't just, I don't think, look at me and just know that. But that was the first time I met him, definitely, at that performance.
At what point did you decide to, put out the story that you and Chingy had some sort of romantic relationship?
Oh, I would say the time that I put that story out was probably like 2 years after we took those pictures together. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had a lot of people in my ears. I had a lot of people saying like, girl, do you know woo, woo, woo? If you do this, baby, you gonna be on top. You gonna be all over the blogs. And I was like, I have been trying to get out there like that. Cause this backup dancing thing ain't been doing too good. Like I've been doing the.
You see? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? She was doing anything for clout.
These gigs here and there, but it ain't been getting me where I want to be. It's been getting me around a lot of celebrities. I will admit that. But I kind of got tired of being the one, oh, can I take a picture with you? Like, I want to be the one that you're asking to take a picture with me.
Wow. You see? Like, that is some whole shit.
So, like, I think at that time I was younger. I was really dumb-minded, young-minded. And I did it. I was like, you know what? Let's do this shit. So I talked about it. And it went viral. Like, I was like, damn, I didn't think I had this much power. And to be honest, if I could change the hands of time, I would have never did that shit. I would have like, hold up. I ain't finna do this shit. Well, no, you do it. And I'ma just not say nothing or I'ma deny it. Like, I was definitely not in the right mindset.
You see how even though she's saying she's sorry, she's still like conniving away or trying to connive a way for her to have still, because she needed somebody to get some clout off of to get her to be where she needed to be because she has no talent. or he has no talent. So he had to like put himself with somebody some kind of way to like harness their talent and their energy for himself. So he's saying, you know, maybe I should have let somebody else do it and then I could just deny it. But you're still conniving because you and that other person are colluding to lie on someone else. So even though it wasn't coming out of your mouth, it was coming out of somebody from your camp's mouth. And that's just as shady. So these are the kind of people, like, you cannot trust them. Like, so when we say, like, you know, the court of public opinion, the opinion of you is bad because everything that you have done has been shitty towards other people. It's not one infraction. Like, now it's you lied on Chingy for 20 years, ruined his career. Now we catch you years later at hotels, allegedly trying to collude to do harmful things to children at hotel rooms. And the reason why this young man was at the hotel was because his family was here for like a football conference. I mean, and like 16, 13, 16, 18, too young for me. Okay? 18, too young for me. Gross. So to me, it's just like, I get it. 18 is consent. Here in Georgia, you have to be 16 years old to consent. I get it. Gross to me, in my opinion. Am I going to ever date an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old as a 44-year-old woman? And Sidney Starr is either my age or a couple of years younger or older than me. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you.
That time of my life, I was just all about trying to get where I wanted to be and to get famous. And it backfired. Like, that wasn't the way I needed it to go, you know?
Now, I interviewed Chingy a few weeks ago, and you know I know you saw the interview because you made some comments about it. Chingy said that he lost a major record deal because of this story. You know, he said that the record label, you know, just basically just told him that because of this bad publicity that we're not going to go forward with the record deal. And you know, he hasn't had a record deal, you know, a major record deal since then.
Can I say something about that? I really would like to, because I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to bash Chingy. I'm not going to say it.
Thank you, K. Jones, 5792. I agree with you too. Shim knew that boy was 13. I believe Shim did too. I believe that. And thank you very much, K. Jones, 5792, for the jewels. I appreciate you. You guys are lacing me out in jewels. I appreciate that so much. But listen to what she says here. This is interesting. What she says here about what she did to Chingy's career. Let's go back and listen to this.
Anything that I wish him to say. Can I say something about that? I really would like to, because I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to bash Chingy. I'm not going to say anything bad. I wish him the best in his life. Like, I made a apology video on World Star Hip Hop, letting him know how apologetic I was about all of it. But I will admit that I don't agree with my situation and what happened with us, him losing his deal. I don't agree with it being because of me. I honestly feel like there was more things before my situation came about anyway. I'm not going to bring it up, but I was not the only person that kind of like said stuff.
But that was the point when Chingy's career went downhill, bro. Ain't no other way to say it. Now, yeah, Chingy might want hottest fish grease as once he was at that time, but that he was still with Disturbing the Peace. He was still.
I mean, listen. I'm familiar with Disturbing the Peace. That wasn't gonna go. That wasn't gonna go nowhere. Nobody was trying to be in the studio with him. You feel me? It's like after something like that, it's like people just don't respect you anymore. And this is a business crafted of men, for men, by men. Like, no. Like, no. You're being shrouded across the internet as being a Teddy Pendergrass. Like,
with Ludacris, he was still with like in the public eye. He was a relevant rapper, is what I'm saying. And that right there, that was like Undertaker doing a tombstone. You know what I'm saying? But Sidney Starr came back all them years later on Vlad and cleared it up and said, been clearing it up since then, but it's like, bro, you saying sorry, but I can't get my career back. Or I can never get back to that time. We can't jump in a spaceship, a time machine, and go back to them days and just restart right there and eliminate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was highly scrutinized for that, and nobody even knows if it was the truth at that time. Now we know it wasn't the truth via Sidney Starr, and you know, I just feel like this is what you did. Well, first of all, don't know Lil One deserve what he was doing to, you know.
right.
I don't even want to say too much on this video, but what he got arrested for in this video, I don't even want to say the word. I don't even want to, but you know what I mean. Don't know. You got to protect the kids, bro. Protect the kids, bro.
I agree.
Like, and I read some comment that said he be on OnlyFans. Somebody in the comments, I'm gonna see if I can go find the comment. It was on Reddit, I think. It was like, yeah, man, all them, I guess he got an OnlyFans. Sidney Starr has an OnlyFans. And they said that that's what he was doing. Now, I don't know, 'cause I'm damn sure he tapped into that OnlyFans, but I wouldn't be, if you getting arrested for it, they done already passed it along to the DA. I mean, guess what though? You right where you wanna be. You right where you wanna be, up in prison, and right where you need to be too. But all the men in there, yeah, they gonna have a field day. All the body man them, they gonna have a field day. You hear me? And
I don't know. I don't want to say that, you know, Fulton County needs to get their shit together, you know. So they got a lot of things wrong within Fulton County, but hopefully this is something that they can get right, you know. I hope that the kid is okay, you know, like I hope, you know, despite what happened, that things didn't get too far. From what I understand, I think they got into a tussle. So I don't know how far things went, and I don't know what all happened. So we'll have to wait for the trial to come out to know exactly. But, you know, from the allegations, it's just, it doesn't look good. But again, I just want to stress that these are allegations. They're not convictions. And, you know, being that we're the public and we know this Shim's history, do you think that we're right for kind of like side-eyeing him, being that we know that he put on this lie for so long? You know, do we think that he's lying about what happened in the hotel room with this kid? If someone lies about their age, how do you think that should affect, you know, what happened? You know, like if someone tells you they're 21 and you serve them alcohol and it comes out to be that they're really 17, how much liability is on me for serving someone who showed me a fake ID alcohol? You know, like it's kind of like that. If he said he was 18, that's 2 years over the age of consent, then everything is fine, you would think. If that is the case. I'm not saying that is the case, but that is what this Sidney Starr is saying, that he lied about his age. All right. And the he that we're talking about is the accuser, who happens to be 13 years old. Okay. And should celebrities be held to a different standard than everyone else, especially when they're celebrities that have lied to get into the public eye, and then how quickly should, people like sponsors or movie networks or collaborators distance themselves from someone facing serious criminal allegations like Diddy? Like, where were all his supporters when he was going through trial? Remember, he was like, nobody's fucking with me, like nobody will talk to me. Usually when it's big money on the table, people drop you right away. Like, they're like, oh, no. Like, I can't be associated or affiliated with you. I have to leave you where you are because you're going to bring me down. You're going to make me lose money. You're going to make me, lose my livelihood. The things that makes my family very happy, my money in the bank, I can't jeopardize that because I'm standing next to you. So it's sad. Prayers to the kid and his family. I believe the story was something like he was at the hotel with his older sister was watching him and kind of like drifted away. I guess he probably met the Sidney Starr allegedly at a bar or whatever, and this is how they ended up together in a hotel room. That's the story that I'm hearing, at least, anyway, I think. But that's it on this. Like I said, I'm going to leave all of the videos in the description, all of the videos that we watched today in the description of this video at the end of our stream. They'll be there so you can go back and give the content creators a like and a subscribe to their channel. Oh, Zeus Network. That makes sense. Kay Jones says Zeus Network has deals with Sidney. Wow. And isn't Zeus Network going through the same kind of allegations? That's crazy, right? It's almost kind of like birds of a feather flock together. Because the dude from the Zeus Network, I heard some allegations about him. Now, I don't know how true they are. Because they come from people that, already have questionable reputations, people like Jocelyn and some of the other people. I think Natalie Nunn was talking about him too one time. I don't know. But he has some weird allegations going on about him. They call him Diddy 2.0 on YouTube. Allegedly. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm seeing about the Zeus Network owner. I don't know what his name is. But thank you, Project Leroy. Project Leroy says, what goes around comes around for Sidney Starr. Yeah, totally. And I have a drop for you, Pooh Man. Project Leroy, not Pooh Man. I have a super chat drop for you. Thank you for your super chat. Here you go. Thank you, Project Leroy. I appreciate you supporting the garden, helping it grow. Thank you to everybody that has contributed to the channel tonight. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. I am so close to 4,000 subscribers. I'm almost there, guys. I think I can't count right now. But I believe I'm about 136 subscribers away from 4K. So I'm almost there, okay? Help me out. If you're watching this on the replay, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, please. It costs you nothing. It's free. It's free. And I promise to entertain you. I promise. Well, I'll try. I do what I can. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into my favorite part. Okay. Because you know how I feel about, I feel like this is a good segue because we've been talking about, can men have babies before on my channel. And, you know, I have these feelings towards Candace Owens. It's like I want to like her, but I can't, you know, but sometimes like she's really good. Like sometimes she makes me proud. And this is one of those instances. So she sits down. This video comes from, this next video, it comes from Clash IQ. And this video is about Candace Owens versus Mark Lamont Hill. Basically, they have a conversation, and it's about, can men have children? And it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Hold on one second. Let me, okay. I know which one I'm grabbing now. So everyone, okay, here we go. So like I said, this video here comes from Clash IQ. It says, nobody has ever shut down the trans argument on live TV like Candace Owens did to Mark Lamont Hill. I'm gonna give this a like. Again, I am going to drop the link to this video in the description box so that you all can go and give this content creator a subscribe, like the video, watch it on your own. If you don't think I did it justice, or you want to hear it without my commentary, right? But let's see what they're talking about. This is very interesting. All right, listen to this. Let me turn this up so everybody can hear it. Okay, here we go. We're all set.
Can men get pregnant?
Depends. I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman.
Okay, so Mark Lamont Hill genuinely thought he was about to walk Candace Owens through this whole trans argument like she's never heard it before. Like he's going to explain it nice and slow, and she's just going to sit there and go, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, my bad. And Candace hits him with a no so fast it probably gave him whiplash. Didn't hesitate, didn't soften it, didn't say, well, it depends, or let me think about that. Just no. And that's exactly why this clip went everywhere, because nobody expects that kind of composure when the cameras are on and the pressure is right there in your face. Let's get in.
I think that we have to do a few things. For me, I think the easy part, and this is the part I think you and I agree on, is that we have to accept, and we should accept people as they present themselves in the world, right? Like if someone says my pronouns are, if I told you my pronouns were she, her, you would address me as she and her, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I would call you Mark.
Okay, but you wouldn't call me he.
No, because I mean, I would call you Mark, you know, if that was something that made you comfortable. But if I saw you.
And if I said my name was Jane, would you then call me Jane?
If that was your legal name, yes.
But you'd only call me by my legal name.
Yeah, I call you by your legal name. I don't have an issue with that, but I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to change what, you know, these established pronouns for male and female because you say, you know, I'm Mark and here I am presenting.
What do you, so I really want to ask you, I'm genuinely curious about this. But first, let me just say, I think that, one, this isn't a case of someone thinking there's something that they're not. What people are saying is that there is a misalignment between my sex and my gender.
Disorder.
No,
That's the point. My mind and my body don't match. That's a disorder.
That doesn't make it a disorder. It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be, whether we see it in plants, whether we see it in animals. There's all kinds of complexity. And
what do we see in plants that leads us to think that a plant could be trans? Like what is he talking about? Like we see it in plants, do we see it in amphibians? Do we see it in seahorses? Like, what do we see it in? What plants? The Venus flytrap? Like the snake plant? Like, what is he talking about?
Look, in history, I mean, even we go back to the continent of Africa, we look in Asia, there's all kinds of examples of people who have complicated gender performances and complicated understandings of gender, and how we perform gender can be different.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess my question for you would be, why, if someone identifies as, particularly someone who you engage with, say it's a colleague at work or whomever, a family member, or whomever,
he's having this conversation with a Harriet Tubman sweatshirt on. It's like the first thing I want to ask him is, what do you think Harriet Tubman would think of you, a black man that she freed from the Underground Railroad, talking like this about how men can have babies? Imagine how Harriet Tubman would feel hearing this from her time, time flying all the way through the century or through the decades to come to today, to hear Mark Lamont Hill advocating, a black man advocating for trans men having babies. Like, she would be so confused. Like, wait a minute. First of all, what is trans? Right? And then once you explained to Harriet Tubman what trans is, you don't think that Harriet Tubman would say the same thing as Candace Owens now? Well, you're technically saying that it's a woman having a baby, but the woman thinks she's a man. But science in my eyes say that she's a woman? Like, is this something you want to die on the hill for, Mark? Like, this is so weird. Like, you're doing this with Harriet Tubman's name on your chest. This is like an infraction. You flag on the play. Pull the red card. Like,
They say, look, I prefer to be called she and her, and I no longer want to be identified by this name. Why not just honor that?
If you changed your name, I will honor it.
But why not? I mean, I'm sure you call people by nicknames, dog. I'm sure you grew up in a black neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you know somebody named Peanut, right?
Yeah.
Right. You don't say, well, that's not your legal name. Your mama named you Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe.
No, I'm saying a name is one thing, but if you're asking me to change pronouns, I'm not going to do that because these are established pronouns. You're asking me to now change the English language, right? We know why we call female, she, her, girl, woman. Okay, these are words that have meanings. These are words that have meanings. So this is a book. Right? So could you call this is a book and this is a mug? Could you call this a book and call this a mug? Yes, you could do that if you want to change it, but words have meanings, right? So now if I switch it and you say, well, this mug wants to be called a book, it's a mug. It's just a mug. This is the word we've established for mugs. This is the word we established for books. So you're asking me to change the actual meaning of words to accommodate you. I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm not going to do that. It is, because not only is it a request, you can now get in trouble in certain states for misgendering someone.
The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman, and so I want you to revert me.
But you're not a woman.
You guys, this. Let me go back.
So that's the problem. So this is what I say.
I'm a woman, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman, and so I want.
You're not a woman, though. You're not. You're not a woman, though. Like, I'm not Japanese. I'm not Japanese. Like, I can't go into, I just can't go into Japan and say, hey, I'm Japanese. I don't need a passport. I don't need an ID. I identify as Japanese. Like, you can't do that. Where else could you just do that? I'm a dog. So I need to be like, I need you to put my food in a food bowl on the ground. And like, I have to do so everybody else has to acquiesce to me thinking I'm a dog. Everybody else has to acquiesce to me thinking I'm Japanese. So what would be so what is stopping you and me and everybody else, in the Smell the Roses membership program to go to Chase Bank and say, I'm a millionaire, give me money? But I'm a millionaire, give me money. Like, this is essentially, to me, what trans people are doing to the rest of the world. I'm a millionaire, give me money. That is what they're doing. Is that fair? So every time somebody comes up to me and says, I'm a millionaire, give me money, I'm supposed to reach into my pocket and give them some money? No. So that's the same thing. Just because you identify as one thing doesn't mean I have to change my vocabulary, doesn't mean I have to change like all of these things that I come to know as I've grown up in life. Like she said, a book is a book, a cup is a cup, and these words have meaning. He, she, her, him, woman, man have meaning. The word trans exists is a meaning. There's a meaning for that. You were a woman who now identifies as a man, so now you are trans. That's your designation. Over here. Women are over here. Men are over here. Mark, what is wrong with him? He is weird.
But you're not a woman. So that's the problem. So this is what I say is now you've asked me to take on your mental disorder, right? So I am okay with the fact, the argument from my uncle who thinks he's a, Native American from a certain tribe is that this is what he thinks. He thinks, but he's not. Okay, so I'm not then to say to me that argument is valid because he thinks it. No, just because you think something doesn't make it real. Okay,
but that's exactly what gender is. Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not a social construct. Stop saying a social construct. To say that words don't have meaning and they're socially constructed means nothing. And I'll tell you why.
They are.
But you say that, but then
This wasn't always a book.
Okay,
this
so
could
then
be called mug.
So
It
then
just happens not
you know
to
what
be.
it is? Our entire discussion about Black America meant nothing. There's no such thing as racial injustice. See what I did there? Because Black is a social construct.
Yeah, but we live in a social reality. So within that social reality,
you can't be both, Mark.
Oh, I love this part for her. This was the part that I was just like, yeah, because you can't have it both ways. You just can't. Like, is it a social construct or is it not a social construct? So if that's a social construct, then being Black in America is a social construct. Not that it is. You see what I mean? It is, but it isn't. You see what I'm saying? And if you're going to... Thank you, Red, for my flowers and for my jewels. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is mental illness. I completely agree, 110%. And what's up, sister? Hey, Jaywalker, it's good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Yes, Cases, this is freaking crazy. It's insane. I could not believe it. When I saw this, I was like, oh, because this is exactly like what we've been talking about over here. Is it not? I mean, okay, let's go. Let's go.
And this is the part that actually got me. Candace flipped the whole argument on its head with one move. She said, okay, fine. Everything is a social construct. Cool. Then racial injustice doesn't exist either. And Mark walked right into it. He spent all that time building this case about gender being a social construct. And Candace basically said, all right then, your entire argument about race just collapsed too. You don't get to pick and choose which parts of reality are real, depending on what point you're trying to make. Either words have meaning or they don't. Candace wasn't having it, and she made that crystal clear. Let me know in the comments if you think Candace completely cornered him right here. Hit that like button. It really helps. Let's get back in.
Do you either think that the gender wage gap is BS, that feminism is wrong, and that racial disparities are all BS because everything's a social construct? You're either going to go full postmodernist and say nothing is real and it's all made up, or you're going to acknowledge that there are some hard, concrete truths. If there are hard, concrete truths, you and I are Black, okay? That's not going to change because we wake up and we decide, you know what, today I'm white and it's just how I feel, and today I'm Chinese. No. You and I are Black, okay? We are acknowledged as Black people. We're seen down as Black people. I am a woman. You are a man, okay? Now, if I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm a man, you want to say you're a woman, and we want to play the crazy game, we can do that. So then say all of society now is to pretend that it was all a social, no, it was a social contract. You were born a male, I was born a female.
Yes, that's a sex.
We are Black, okay? It's a color though. Black it's a word that we use to say a sex. Female is a word that we use that has a meaning.
Yes,
it means you are born with a vagina, you can have children, you have a uterus. When you are a male, you are born with a penis. You can get a woman pregnant. These words have real meanings. We cannot suddenly get into society where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social construct does not mean that we ignore biology, and it doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get
That's a
pregnant.
circular argument. That's
It's not a
begging the
circular
question.
argument.
Yeah.
It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society
Right,
which
that's
is
the part I'm
even
disagreeing
debatable.
with. That's the part I'm disagreeing
There's
with.
nothing to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
So I'll give you, let's go back to the social construct thing, because then it'll answer the thing you just said. I'm not ignoring what you just said. I want to tie it together. So the
This
idea
man is crazy.
My point was that a social construct doesn't ignore physical realities, right? The social construct is about how we as a society make sense of those physical realities, right? So for example, you said we're black. Sure, right? I'm trying to think of, you pick a light-skinned black person, right? They're black, right? We'd agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to the Dominican Republic. Let's go to PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico.
my God.
Let's go to Jordan. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Sudan. Let's go to Ghana, right? And let's go to South Africa. I'm picking these places very specifically because they have different racial logics and racial paradigms. And what it means to be black here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a universal blackness, right? That in Dominican, there might be 5 different other racial categories, right? And there are some light-skinned black folk here who, when they go to Ghana, get basically seen as white, right? Because of how we socially construct it. Doesn't mean my biology changed. Doesn't mean my physical reality changed, but how society engages this stuff is what makes it a social construct. So similarly, when it comes, so I'm not ignoring the realities of race. So with race and racism in America, and then I'm gonna take it back to the gender thing. When it comes to race and racism in America, it's, yes, biologically, we're all the same, right? Black people, white people, there's an infinitesimal difference between a black person and a white person in terms of our genetics, right? This is superficial stuff. But that's a biological reality, right? It's a biological fact, right? Just like as biologically true as me being born with a penis, right? But the truth is, but the idea that there's social meanings attached to that blackness that make people fear me, or that make people think that that person's life is worth more because they're white or whatever, those are social meanings that are arbitrary and different. So to acknowledge social constructs doesn't mean you ignore biological realities.
But you just did that when you said that men could give birth.
So similarly, what I'm saying is that I'm not denying the biological reality of maleness, of the genitalia we're assigned at birth and what we can do with those body parts. I'm not denying that. That's a biological reality. Again, the social meaning I'm attaching to it is what I'm saying is more complicated.
But it's not complicated. Can men give birth?
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
And the answer,
my
that
God.
is crazy. And this is, we cannot, it's just crazy. We cannot allow this to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of
There
being
are
a woman is the
truths.
ability to give birth.
And I'm not saying it, but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being
Only
that
people
can
with
give birth.
uteruses and vaginas
Yes,
and
can
stuff
give birth. Only women can give birth. I'm not
disagreeing with
give
that.
birth.
I'm not.
So what is his point then? If he's not disagreeing with it, what is his point? What is he arguing? This is like why maybe like I need Fatty to explain it to me. What is his argument? What is his argument? Only women give birth. So if you're giving birth, a man can't have a baby. What is he arguing? I don't understand it. I don't understand. I know my brain hurts too. It hurts too. It hurts too, Jay Walker. Like, it's like, what is his, like, what? What is he saying? Like,
And here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it is now come to a point where if you
okay. So if your abilities to have or not have children don't matter, right? Then let's just be anything, y'all. I'm a goldfish. I'm a starfish. Like, what is he doing this for? Like, what think tank is paying you, bro? What think tank is like is in your back pocket? this is like dangerous.
You say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts. So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Okay.
Yeah, trans men. There are some trans men who can. And again, I think it's okay to ask interesting questions. I think it's okay to have intellectual debates. But I don't think that we ever want to enter a space where we deny the humanity. And I'm not saying you are, but to deny the humanity or the experiences of other people.
Like I said, I was totally okay with trans until it became a demand. What you are denying is my ability to be an intelligent human being, right? You're denying my ability to talk about science and biology in a meaningful way. You are now making your existence is actually infringing on mine, okay?
How so?
And because when you make it a requirement now that I have to pretend that men can give birth and men can menstruate and there needs to be tampons as the ACLU is fighting for in male restrooms, and if I don't see the reason, the importance of that, then I'm a bigot. I'm someone that doesn't accept. No. I accept you if you want to run around and you want to wear a dress and you want to call yourself Tiffany and you want to put a pillow in
Tiffany.
If you want, I don't need to know your name. It doesn't mean anything to me. You want to call? I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe your name is Tiffany. You know, if a person comes up to me and they're in a dress and a skirt and they say my name's Tiffany. Okay, cool, Tiffany, cool, right? But when it becomes Candace is a bigot because she won't acknowledge that Tiffany the man got her period and can have a baby, I'm not playing that game. I will never
So tomorrow,
back
I come on your
down.
show tomorrow, and I have decided that, or a year from now, suddenly I have reimagined my identity, and I have recognized and affirmed my identity as a trans woman, and I no longer want to.
You guys, is this fucking crazy or what? There is a black man arguing with a black woman on a podcast about his ability to reimagine himself as a woman a year from now. He uses the word reimagine, but you cannot recreate yourself. So reimagine means that you're doing something up here. Just because it's in here doesn't mean it's out here in the world, doesn't mean it's down here in my pants. Again, if we can just be anything that we want to be, I want to be a millionaire. Do I have the right to go into the bank and make them make me a millionaire? No, they're going to arrest me. Because they're going to be like, this bitch is crazy. She is suffering from mental illness. She thinks she's a millionaire and she ain't got no money. So what makes calling yourself a woman when you're a man any different than me calling myself a millionaire when I'm not? It's just, wow, that like, all money is not good money, man. If taking the think tank's money, I don't know, allegedly, I'm assuming because I'm getting further and further deeper into politics every day of my life than I hope and wish to be. But as I'm understanding it, I can tell you, this is wrong. You weren't raised this way, Mark. Your dad, your mother, your grandmother, Harriet Tubman, ninja, would not agree with this. Would not agree with this at all. And then you're putting yourself in it. You're putting yourself in it with a little chain tattoo around your wrist. So is Mark gonna be LaMarca next year? I mean, I just marked like, this is crazy. This was when I was listening to this on my lunch break today, I had to keep taking breaks. Like, what? Is he crazy? Like,
Identify as Mark. I want to identify, as use your example, as Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be like, this book says Mark, you're Mark. You'd call me Tiffany.
I'd call you Tiffany, but I'm not going to call you she and her because that has real meaning, and I'm not going to play the
What's
game.
What's compromised by that? Is what I'm trying to understand.
I'm a woman. I'm compromised by just allowing anybody to call themselves a woman. I'm compromised because then that means that I recognize you as a woman, and then your creepy ass is trying to come into my locker room, my sauna, at the gym, your old hairy, bald, having ass self identifying as a woman is going to be making me uncomfortable in places where I need to be just around women. Okay? I'm sorry, but you are infringing on my rights as a woman. I have already said this to you. Women, you feminist women that are arguing for trans people to be considered women are fucking us. You're fucking us all over because you're allowing these men into our spaces and they are not women. If they want to have their own space, give them a third fucking locker room. Put a third fucking locker room in all of the wellness spas, all of the LA Fitness, all of the Crunch Fitnesses, all of the Planet Fitnesses. Put a fucking third locker room in there for trans people and then split that motherfucker up by male trans or female trans. But when Mark asks, how is this affecting you? Well, how is it? It's not affecting you because when a woman plays to be a man, nobody is fucking threatened by that woman because all of y'all know it's a woman playing as a man and y'all can still kick her ass. Right? But when it's you, big ass Mark, in my locker room full of the testosterone that you've grown up with all your life and the locker room with me, I'm still defenseless because it's not like your power has dropped down to the same power as mine as a woman. You're still a fucking man. Don't y'all get that?
My reality. You're now saying you've transformed your reality and now I have to pretend that words have no meanings, and they do have meanings, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you here. Hi, Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? Did you have a good day, Tiff? Great, Tiff. I'm not going to then say she. I'm not doing that. And if people cannot, if people the demand.
But you won't misgender me either.
What? I'll just call you Tiffany.
But and if they say where'd Tiffany go, you're not gonna be like he just left. You'll say she just left.
I'll probably slip up once or twice. But
I'm not talking about
Tiffany
mistakes, but I'm
just
saying you
left.
wouldn't intentionally misgender me.
No, I wouldn't intentionally misgender you, but I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom. I don't want Tiffany
But
in
you
my
also don't
spaces.
want tampons in the other bathroom. That's
right?
what I don't
No,
get.
I don't care. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's dumb. But if that's really where guys want to go, do it. I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't impact me. I don't have to go in the bathroom. But I don't.
Listen, the reason why people in government have a problem with saying put tampons in a man's bathroom is because it will cost money. Okay? It's not just about the right for a man to have access to a tampon. It's about the fact that when you make this thing, when you put this thing out there, you change everything else. These laws have effects. That means everybody has to spend money to accommodate them. The parks, the national parks, your local parks, your like I said, make a third extra locker room. Think about that. Think about every city government building, every county government building. All of these buildings will be affected by that. If you do that at a college, they're going to ask for you to do that everywhere. And that means everybody is going to have to kick out extra money to put tampons in a man's bathroom. How does that make sense? Why would we spend billions of dollars when we're already in a deficit, we're already in a war, to put fucking tampons in a man's bathroom so a woman who identifies as a man has the option to a tampon in a man's bathroom when she can just carry her ass into the women's bathroom where she rightfully belongs, where the tampons are already there? Or she could just fucking walk around like I do with tampons in her purse. Because why aren't you prepared? It's weird. It's weird. It's unnecessary. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, right? I don't want my son eating school lunch. I pack his lunch. He goes to lunch with the school I packed. Nobody else is responsible for bringing my son a packed lunch. It's what I want to do. It's how I want to raise him. So that's how I fucking do it. If you want to be a woman, and it shouldn't be up to anybody else to help you be a woman. Because nobody helps me be a woman.
I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom.
And you okay? Are you okay with gender neutral bathrooms?
That's how most bathrooms are. That's all, go on the plane, they're all gender neutral.
No, I got you. But
Yeah,
I'm saying,
bathroom, fine.
But I'm saying designating a specific one like in public spaces, like restaurants.
Yeah, I hate that they say gender neutral because usually they just say bathroom. Like you don't need to say gender neutral, it just says bathroom, and we all understood that. That just seems to be an extra step of virtue signaling to say gender neutral. You just put bathroom. Everyone knows what that means.
No, but a lot of times in places like, for example, in our university, we have male bathrooms, we have female bathrooms, and
Yeah.
then we have gender neutral bathrooms.
You could just put bathroom. Everyone knows what it means. You put WC, everyone knows what it means. It means anybody can go here. That's always been that way since the beginning of time. And then suddenly the trans lobby wanted to say gender neutral, and suddenly we had to put gender neutral.
That's
and
so fascinating because I find it actually be the right in this case, and I'm not.
Planes. Do they say gender neutral? Or
I'm
just
with you.
bathroom?
I'm with you. I mean, grandmom's house.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, right? I mean, no one called it gender. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I often find that it's the anti-trans community that's like, oh my God, the gender neutral bathroom.
Because it's the
God made bathroom for man, bathroom for woman. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, they've always been just bathrooms. Usually at small places, just bathrooms. It's fine, but like I can't stand the preamble to the Constitution. Any person can go here. We don't care whether you just shut up.
I think that's a good thing. I think
it's
that's
just
about
annoying. It's just the constant virtue signaling. Just shut up. Just put bathroom.
It's about affirming people's.
I can't take no more. I need Mark to affirm a barber, affirm a hair fucking line. Okay? Who is his barber? Pull his barber out. I need to talk to him. Okay? The worst. The worst, okay? He's the worst. His haircut's the worst. His sweatshirt, he is giving Harriet Tubman the worst, upset stomach. She's just twisting and turning in her fucking grave while he's having this conversation where her name splattered across his sorry ass chest. I mean, Mark, my God, man, like.
You don't need your identity affirmed on a bathroom sign. If you need
You
that.
do if you've been denied access.
It just says
That's
bathroom.
privilege.
It's not privilege.
That's cisgender privilege. It really is.
Oh my God,
It is.
stop with these made up terms. Cisgender privilege.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna rewind that because I can't with you, Mr. 40 Hours, talking about he goes to Jadakiss's barber. There will be no Jadakiss slander, okay? I can't with you. Y'all hit the like button, please.
It's just a bathroom.
And that right there is why Candace Owens is one of the few people who can actually sit across from someone like Mark Lamont Hill and not get talked in circles. Because Mark is smart. He's articulate. He knows how to build an.
I guess so. We're going to leave that here, okay? I'm going to make sure to drop the link of this video in the description box so that you guys can go back and give this content creator a like and possibly subscribe to their channel. But yeah, that's the show tonight, y'all. I don't know, like, this conversation, it started a lot of commotion, okay? So why do y'all think that this show caused so much commotion and got so much attention? Do you think that people just could not believe Mark's audacity to say that he knows men that can have babies with a straight face? I mean, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe he said that. I just could not. Stop, Winston. No, Winston. No. Sorry, y'all. He's crazy. He's ready to eat. But yeah, like, what do y'all think? Was it Mark? Was it Candace? Do you think people agree more with Candace, or do you think people agree more with Mark? What do y'all think? Did either side's points or opinions change your mind on the situation? Do you mind if, men, if you're a woman, do you mind trans women in your locker room? Do you mind having trans women in your bathroom? Do you feel safe? Does it give you like cause to worry? Do you think that Mark and Candace were having an honest dialogue? I did. Yeah, well, at least I think Candace authentically has that opinion. You know, with Mark, I kind of see it like he's kind of paid to have these opinions, because it just, I don't see him being raised to think that way. And like, you know, when your mother or your grandmother or someone is hearing and seeing these interviews come out about you, I mean, what do you say? You say like, Mom, this is how I really feel? Or do you say, this is what they're paying me to say, Mom? Of course, I don't really feel this way. But if you are allegedly possibly doing things like that, that's really harmful to your people, because you are corrupting little kids into thinking that, you know, that they have the right to enforce their kind of like mental health issues on the rest of society. You know, again, just because I want and I believe that I should be a millionaire, it doesn't mean that I have $1 million in the bank. And if I can't go and pull out my imaginary $1 million, then you shouldn't be mad at me for not calling you an imaginary man or woman. It's just, so Winston, can you please go sit down? No, mommy's not ready yet. No, go over there. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Red, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but I set my redirect to go to you. So I hope that you're still going live at 8:15. Once I end the show tonight, guys, it will redirect you all over to Red Lipstick Vibes. She has a really good show coming up next at 8:15. I would like for you guys to go check her out, subscribe to her channel, like her video. She's an awesome content creator. She always has thoughtful panels. So if you've been wanting to kind of like test out your ability to thoughtfully and eloquently and respectfully speak your opinion on a YouTube channel that is educational and also a safe space, I think that you should try to watch Red's show tonight. It's going to be very interesting. Always great topics. So y'all make sure to check her out. I'm going to also drop the link to her channel. Winston, stop. My God, Winston, you are being so bad. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. He is just like beating his little teddy bear and just going crazy back here. But this is my girl, Red Lipstick Vibes. This is her channel. I just dropped the link in the chat. After I end my show tonight, it will redirect you all over to her channel. I want to just like say to y'all, you know, like, what the hell do y'all think? Like, out of all of the people that we covered tonight, right? We covered Candace and Mark, we covered Shiloh Hendrix, and then we covered that crazy Sidney Starr lady, okay? First of all, Mark, Shiloh, and Sidney, they're all wilted roses, okay? I feel like in this episode, Candace is the only one that was spared, so to speak, you know, but y'all tell me, who are you voting for as being the most wilted rose this week? Is it Sidney Starr, Shiloh Hendrix, or Mark Lamont Hill? Or if you want to throw in someone else's name like CJ or Tammy, you could do that too. Let me know in the chat. Who deserves the wilted rose this week? Okay, Sidney Starr, Shiloh Hendrix, Mark Lamont Hill, or someone else, okay? And yeah, so I just want to say, It's good to hang out with y'all and be back into a regular schedule. The summer was fun. I got a lot done. Today was my son's first day back at school, so I'll be on a more regimented schedule than I was over the summer. So you guys will see me more regularly Mondays and Wednesdays, and then this Friday I'll also be on the Untouchable panel for the super panel on Friday at 5 o'clock. So you guys don't miss that. I'll post about it on Friday so that you guys don't forget. Look out for new videos I'll be dropping tomorrow and Saturday. And I want y'all to be sweet to each other. Before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to everybody that has spent a little money on me today. Team Warren says, feels good to catch a live show again. I was hemmed up, but I'm back. Well, I'm happy you're not hemmed up anymore. Hopefully it was a short stint at band camp. When you say hemmed up, you know, I'm from the street a little bit, so you know what I think when you say that. But thank you for sending me $5 in a super chat. I have a little drop for you that will make you laugh. Here it goes. Thank you, Team Warren. I love that so much. Again, thank you, Team Warren. I appreciate you. Thank you, Will Dog Media, for my silver star, my jewels. I appreciate you so much. Thank you to Shiz Be Yappin' for gifting one Smell the Roses membership. If you received a membership from Shiz Be Yappin', please say thank you to him, okay? And I am going to drop Shiz's, because he's an up-and-coming content creator. I am going to drop his link in the chat so that you guys can go and subscribe to Mr. Shiz. He is my brother from another mother. He likes to talk about sports. He seems to be very passionate about basketball. So if you want to talk crap, you know, to somebody about basketball, I think Shiz will be the best person for you. Okay, so check Shiz out. Shiz Be Yappin', thank you so much for gifting a membership. Delancey, thank you so much for showering me with $10 in the super chat. I have a little drop for you too, Delancey. I love that. I love that. So thank you so much, Delancey. I appreciate you. Thank you to Red Lipstick Vibes for my gold coin. I appreciate the jewels, my love. Delancey hit me again with 350 jewels, a finger heart. So I'm assuming it's like this. Yeah. Thank you so much for showering me with more jewels, Delancey. I appreciate you so much. G-Nail, my sister, my Georgia Peach sister, she laced me with some jewels. It's good to see you, G-Nail. Thank you so much for my gold coins. Project Leroy, thanks again for stopping by tonight. Thank you for my donation. You are so kind. Kay Jones, I appreciate the stars and the jewels today. What now? Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Very dope, very dope. I appreciate you helping my garden grow. Lee Turner, thank you for all the jewels today. I feel so fancy. I feel so fancy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And then last but not least, Lady Zyrax, my untouchable sister, she laced me with a floating heart jewels. Very cool. Thank y'all so much. I can't wait to watch them in the live chat replay. Oh, you have a basketball podcast. Yeah. Okay, good. Yes. Wild Dog Media. Yes, please. I will find you and I will subscribe to you too. Will Dog Media. Y'all have to let me know when you all are also content creators so that I can subscribe to your channels as well. I do often try to subscribe back. If you're subscribed to me, whether you're a content creator or not, I do subscribe. But if you would let me know that in advance, maybe there's something we could, collaborate on. I don't talk about sports, but Shiz talks about sports. And my girl, Chelsea, she talks about sports too. She's really good. I wanted to have her on my channel, and I still might if she's still interested. I just got to figure out how to work that out. But Chelsea, she's one of my supporters and subscribers, and I'm subscribed to her too. She talks about sports really well for a woman. I know that's bad to say, but I could never talk about sports like her. But I'm always interested in watching and hearing about it. You guys keep me sharp for my husband, and he appreciates it. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys for, stopping by, making the garden grow. If you enjoyed tonight's conversation, please hit the like button. It helps more people find the garden. Subscribe if you're new. I'm super close to 4,000 subbies. I can't wait to get there. We'll do a little celebration. Tell me who you think wilted this week out of the contestants we talked about today. And if you'd like to support the show, please, memberships are always welcome. Super chats, super stickers, and cash apps. Let me see if I got any cash apps. I went to work today, so my phone is on mute. Let's see. No cash apps. But I appreciate y'all anyway, right? Can't win every day. No, I'm just playing. I appreciate y'all so much. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. Every week I want to use Wednesdays to look at stories that make people either emotional, but the goal isn't just to hear about what you think, it's to challenge what you think. It's like we're not all of the same mind, and it's totally cool to disagree, but let's help each other stretch our minds. Is there something I'm missing about the transgender conversation? If so, I'm willing to have that conversation. Let me know in the comments on the replay. If there's something I'm missing, I want to hear from you. Sometimes the truth blooms and sometimes it wilts. And on Wednesdays, that's what we're talking about, the shit that wilts, okay? Either way, keep smelling the roses, keep being sweet to each other, and I will see all of you friends again on Friday. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App, Wild Dog Media, but all donations are welcome. I appreciate all donations. Honestly, I do. And may God bless and protect you as well, Soy Oscar. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the prayers and blessings and prayers back to you, okay? I love you all. You all will be redirected to Red Lipstick Vibes. Stick around, show her some love, drop some rosebuds in her comment section once you get over there to let her know that her untouchable sister has sent y'all her way. Okay? I love y'all. I'll see y'all on Friday. Bye-bye.